Hello, joining me now is Mary Beard. She's a classics professor at the University of Cambridge. Mary, thank you so much for being with us.
It's great to be here.
Now, I think if there was an award for most interesting title for a panel, your session would probably take that away in a heartbeat. It was called Sex Trolls in Ancient Rome. So who knew that such a thing existed? But tell me about this.
Well, I'm playing a bit fast and loose
Okay.
because it wasn't quite the same. But we chose the title because we wanted to show that quite a lot of those traditions of misogyny that we think of as associated with trolling go right back to the Greeks and Romans. It's misogyny that in which we kind of hope, and this is what misogyny I think comes down to, that women didn't need to exist. It's hating women, and there's a kind of very strong strand that you see the ancient and modern misogyny shares, that if women have to exist, then the least they can do is shut up. So quite a lot, I think, of modern and ancient misogyny is about silencing women, particularly of not giving them a public voice.
Now, we're laughing a little bit about this, and you've got a very good sense of humor about it, but at the same time, it's a serious issue, right? Because you've drawn a line between this misogyny that existed 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome and to cyberstalking today, which is quite a serious problem. There were the women in gaming, that whole issue that arose last year. Tell us how the two are connected.
I think they're connected in theme, and I think they're connected, in the sort of very soft and not always nice underbelly of Western culture, that men can and want to, in the misogynist's world, there's plenty of men who don't want to do this, but in the misogynist world, there are plenty, there's a desire to make women silent parts of the community. It goes back, actually, to the very first bit of Western literature we have in Homer's Odyssey, when the wonderful, feisty woman Penelope is looking after the home while her husband is away fighting the Trojan War, really kind of running the joint, has an encounter with her frightfully wimpy son Telemachus. She's come downstairs and she says, okay, I think we'll have this song, not that one. And he says, "Mother, shut up. Speech is man's business." And you think, people read the Odyssey, they don't notice that bit. But somehow this image of this kind of 16-year-old going on 12, telling his really feisty mum not to say a word, that to me is a kind of mirror of the way my trolls will say, "I'm going to cut your tongue off, I'm going to cut your head off, you're not going to speak, shut the F up, darling." Right?
You actually gave a lecture at the British Museum titled, I'm going to do this right, hopefully, "Oh, do shut up, dear." But what are the ways that, you're speaking about the ways that men have silenced outspoken women. Have we made progress, though? Do you feel like we've made progress in modern times?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank goodness.
In the end, I'm quite an optimist, really. I think we have to go on fighting the fight because there's still a fight to be fought.
Right.
But
progress, but not enough, clearly.
It would be completely unreasonable of me, who's has some kind of position in British television, to say, oh, women aren't allowed to be heard still. And so I think there has been a change, but I think you can see it in the UK, and I'm not quite sure if it's the same in the States. But women who are on television, particularly women fronting news programmes, still have to look a particular part, don't they? I mean, one of the things they can't be is grey.
Or have a certain waistline.
Or, yes, they have to be size naught and have non-grey hair. And you look at the television and you see these crusty, wrinkly old blokes. I mean, partly
much older.
They're old, and they're allowed there, and not the similar woman. When I did one of my first television programmes, there was an extraordinary review of it, referring to a rather nasty British programme which has a kind of dating agency for people with terrible disabilities, awful, called The Undateables. This reviewer said, Mary Beard, she shouldn't be presenting a documentary, she should be on The Undateables. And I just thought, look, sunshine, you know, after I kind of recovered, because it was, when you read that kind of stuff, you think,
It's mean, it hits you.
yeah, it hits you. Well,
yeah.
but you quickly think, that is so stupid. You know, that is just so silly. And what you're doing is you are reflecting the fact you have no idea what someone my age really looks like. The only image you have of a woman is either a woman who's, you know, under 35 or a woman who's pretending to be under 35. So, you know, let's have a bit of freedom to look 59.
Hear, 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 hear. Our connected world that we live in today, with the internet, social media platforms, instantaneous messaging, has that helped give women a voice, or has it served rather in the opposite?
I think it's done both. I think it's given women a voice, and it has exposed them to all the sexism veering up to misogyny, because I think there's a different, that was existing there already. I'm not one of the kind of people who thinks that social media have reinvented misogyny. I think that what it's done is exposed what was there all along, and it's given people an outlet in which to come out with this stupidity. And I think that, you know, there's two things we can do about it. You know, one is, you know, be angry with it. You know, because some of this, I think, is, you know, it is the right response is to say, this is not on, darling. But I think also perhaps women have to use ridicule a bit more than they do. You know, because some of it is so silly. You know, and that maybe we should just make fun of it and pass on. You know, and hope that might be a better way of dealing with it. Because I think that, you know, some trolling is nasty, it's directed, it's hate speech, actually. Quite a lot of it is either sad people or silly people being a bit disinhibited late at night after too much to drink.
I love your perspective, Mary Beard. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.